Bedtime Stories with the Story Club for Kids. Hello, children. It's time to wind up for the day and settle down for the night. I hope all of you have brushed your teeth and are ready for bed. Now, let's begin our first bedtime story for tonight. This story is about Jack and the Beanstalk. Long ago, in a tiny village, lived a boy called Jack. He and his mother were poor, and one by one, all their animals were gone, and there was only one cow left who was very old. Jack, take the cow to the market and sell her for a good price, said his mother. She is too old to produce milk, and we need the money for food. Jack set off for market and met an old man resting by the road. On the way to the market, are you? He asked. Yes, said Jack. I must sell my cow. I'll take the cow in exchange for these magic beans, said the man. Plant them in your garden and amazing things will happen. You'll see. The magic beans sounded exciting. So Jack gave the cow to the man and took the beans home. You silly boy, cried his mother tearfully. These beans won't grow. Now we don't have any food at all. She threw the beans out of the window, and Jack went to bed hungry and unhappy. Next morning, he opened the door and gasped as he saw a huge beanstalk reaching up to the sky. I wonder how high this beanstalk goes, thought Jack, and he began to climb. All day long, Jack climbed. When he reached the top, it was dark. A road stretched ahead of him, and he followed it until he came to a huge castle. He knocked on the door, and a woman answered. I'm tired and hungry, said Jack. May I rest here and have some food? You may have some food, said the woman, but when my husband, the giant, comes home, run for your life. He catches little boys like you. The woman ushered him into a huge kitchen, and he had a delicious meal. Suddenly, he heard the thunder of giant footsteps and hid in a big copper pot. The giant came in and roared, Fee, fee, fo, fum, I smell an Englishman. Nonsense, dear, insisted his wife. Your hunger is making you imagine things. He ate his meal noisily and then bellowed, Wife, bring me my money. Jack carefully lifted the lid of the pot and saw the giant's wife stagger in, carrying several bags of gold. The giant emptied the gold onto the table and began to count it while his wife went to bed. When he had finished, he put the coins back in the bags, laid his head on his arms, and went to sleep. Silently, Jack climbed out of his pot, crept up to the table, and took 3 bags of gold. Then he slipped out of the castle and backed down the beanstalk. Jack and his mother had enough gold to keep them living comfortably for the rest of their lives, and Jack should have settled down, but he was restless. So, one morning, he climbed the beanstalk again and headed straight for the castle, where the giant's wife answered the door again. "You must not come in," she cried. "My husband will find you and catch you for sure." But Jack looked so tired that she let him in for a meal. He had hardly finished eating when he heard the giant's roar and ran to hide. "Fee, fee, fo, fum, I smell an Englishman." "Don't be silly, dear," his wife spoke gently. "It's only your supper that you can smell." After eating his supper, the giant called, "Bring me my hen." His wife brought it to him and bade him good night, and the giant roared at the hen, "Lay, hen, lay." The hen laid a shining golden egg on the table and carried on laying golden eggs until there was a huge pile of golden eggs. Then the giant dozed off to sleep. Jack sneaked up to the table, grabbed the hen, holding her beak to keep her quiet, and ran out. When Jack reached home, he gave the hen to his mother. They would now be very wealthy. Jack's mother was very afraid, however. "Jack," she said, "one day your father went to the market and never came back. A traveling man came and told me that they had found the giant's castle and the giant had captured your father. Jack, this must be the giant you have been stealing from. Please don't go back." But Jack would not listen and vowed to make sure that he got back at the giant for capturing his father. The giant's wife was terrified when she saw him again, but at last let him in, although he had no time to eat before the giant returned. "Fee, fee, fo, fum, I smell an Englishman." She calmed the giant down again and gave him his dinner. When he had finished, he bellowed, "Bring me my golden harp." "Play, harp, play," the giant commanded. With song after song, the harp entertained the giant until he commanded it to stop. When he slept, Jack snatched the harp, but it cried out, "Help, master, help!" And the giant woke up. "Fee, fee, fo, fum, I shall capture you. Come to me, come to me." Jack, carrying the screeching harp, ran to the beanstalk with the giant lumbering after him. Jack slithered to the bottom, ran indoors, and grabbed his axe. He swung the axe and chopped at the beanstalk until it broke. "That is for capturing my father," shouted Jack, as the giant fell to the ground with a tremendous crash. Jack's adventures were over, and he and his mother had no need to fear the giant ever again. The end. And now, let us listen to our next story. This story is called "Not Now, Oliver." Oliver the owl loved asking questions, and he had a lot of questions to ask. Unfortunately, Oliver was also the smallest owl in the owl tree, so sometimes he had trouble getting the bigger owls to listen to him. "Why is the sky blue?" asked Oliver. "Not now, Oliver," replied his mum. "I've got to mend the nest. Ask me later." Oliver shrugged and hopped away. "How do my wings work?" asked Oliver. "Not now, Oliver," replied his dad. I'm off to get some supper. Ask me later. Oliver sighed and decided to find his granddad. Granddad, said Oliver, why are grown-up birds always so busy? His granddad laughed. Ask me later, Oliver. Oliver was still confused and he still had lots of questions to ask. Oliver went back to his cozy corner of his nest and decided to make a long list of all the questions he wanted to ask. It was so long and took him so much time that he soon fell fast asleep. A little later on, Mom, Dad, and Granddad all came to find Oliver. Oliver, we are ready to answer your questions now, said Mum, gently. Oliver rolled over. Not now, Mum, he said sleepily. Ask me later. The end. And that's all for tonight. Good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bedbugs bite. Bye bye, children.